notice things about your own finger that you've not noticed before?
Excuse me?
Did you notice things about your own finger?
My finger? Absolutely.
Yes. Where's this finger been your whole life that you're just now noticing these things?
It's on my hand. And
Okay. Give her a hand. Give her a big hand. Give her a hand. The reason I want you to do this is I want you to learn to wake up, to see what you're not seeing. How many saw things in this room, things on your finger, things in your neighbor that you'd not seen until I brought it up? Raise your hand here. Say, I. So here's my question. What are you missing right now with your clients? What are you not seeing with your downline? What are you not seeing with the people you're trying to lead? What are you not seeing in yourself? Because when you don't see, everything's an obstacle. But when you start noticing what's going on, what's really going on instead of your conditioning or your old story, then everything changes. She doesn't see her father. She sees her projection of what she thought her father should be. So she's not with him. And if you want to recruit human beings, if you want to build a business, the most powerful thing you can humanly do is to actually be present with a human being where they feel your total presence. You're experiencing them. You're there with them. That has unbelievable power, more power than your pitch ever will. And if you can understand, if you can be that person that when you're with someone, you're there with them 1,000,000%, I'm telling you, you'll have zero difficulty building a team. Because people will be attracted to you because it is so freaking rare. I'm saying to you, it's wonderful to practice and rehearse your elevator pitch, your introduction, your way of engaging people. That's beautiful. But the state you do it in is more important than what you're saying. You can mess up all the words, and if there is authentic caring and sincerity and presence, you can pierce anyone. Who's with me on this? Say, I. But we're often so busy, going so fast that we don't see people. You know, they did a study at Harvard Divinity School, and they took a group of these ministers, all studying to become ministers, going to Harvard, and they gave them a test. They said, here's what we're going to do. In a few moments, we're going to give you 3 subjects you can pick from. And as you pick for those 3 subjects, you're then going to go do a sermon on that subject, right? And we're going to evaluate you. And so the first thing they said is you can either do it on the Good Samaritan story, you know, the person's sick by the road, the person go and help them, or you can do a sermon on your favorite Bible story, or you can do the sermon on why you became a minister and why it's so important. Now, interestingly enough, they then told them all to go to the church, and when they got to the church, there's a person lying on the steps, writhing in pain, just like the Good Samaritan story. And interestingly enough, 80% of the people stepped over the person writhing in pain to go in and give their sermon. 20% did not. Now I want you to tell me which one it was. Was it the person who told the Good Samaritan story? They were preparing for that, so when they found the person on the steps, they recognized their duty and did something. Was it a person who did about why they became a minister who stopped? Or was it the person who did their favorite Bible story? Which one of those 3 do you think stopped? Yell it out. Which one? How many think it was the Good Samaritan story that woke them up? Let me see your hands. How many thought it was the Bible story they believed in that made them pay attention? How many thought it was telling a story of why they're a minister that made them stop? You're all wrong. Yep, you're wrong. It didn't matter which story it was. The only difference is they told 50% of them and then 20% just to see if it would stay in 2 different studies. You're late. If they said you were late, it didn't matter what story, you stepped over the body of the person with you because you weren't present with them because of the urgency of time. Instead of doing what you're made for, you miss what's going on. What are you missing? I'm telling you, you've been here for days, and going to be here more days. You're learning from the very best people in your industry. They're teaching you the skill sets, the strategies. So I don't need to do that. What I want to do is the part that will actually make those strategies work, which is bringing you to this moment with a true connection with a human being where you can pierce their soul because you're really here instead of in your head rehearsing what you're going to say and do, right? Because when you're doing that, you're going to miss people. You're going to still get some people because the offering's excited, they're excitable, it's there. But if you want to go pro, if you want to really go pro, then you have to figure out how to make sure you stop what's caused you to fail in the past. And when I say caused you to fail, I know you're all successful. But how many of you want a hell of a lot more than what you're doing right now, no matter how great it is? Say I. That's a sign of healthiness, right? Because we want more. That means we want to grow. So I want you to answer the question, what caused you to fail when you failed? Just yell out any answer real fast. We won't go deep. We'll stay surface. What caused you to fail? Inconsistency. Someone else. What caused you to fail? Didn't have enough money. Someone else. What caused you to fail? Didn't have the right people. By the way, the people said they didn't have the right leader. Just curious to share that with you. Right? What else? I didn't have the technology you needed. Okay, why else? Didn't have the relationships. Why else? So much fear stopped me. Why else? First time I asked this question, I was at TED. How many know what TED is now? Most people do, right? Technology, entertainment, design. They've got a video site. Years ago, there was no video site when I first went there, and it was just 300 people, and it was Steve Jobs, it was the founders of Google, it was the who's who of the world, billionaires, and I got invited to come speak there. And I knew nothing about TED. It wasn't a big promotional device, but a couple people said, come speak at TED. And I come to TED, and I watch this person get up and try and teach string theory, understanding, how the physics of the universe works. And the speeches there are 18 minutes. Now, my shortest speech is like 50 hours, so it's like I'm like, this is stressful, right? Because I want to go deep. I don't want to go surface. But I watch 18 minutes, and the people in the audience are like coughing and making noise and going, this is bullshit. This person's teaching string theory in 18 minutes. I mean, for God's sakes, have a heart, right? So then I get up on the stage, and the man who's introducing me says, he didn't know me, and he goes, oh, it's Tony Robbins. He goes, don't make people jump and shit. Just don't do that shit, okay? And I'm like, they're just going to sit there for this time period? I know I move people so you can move them emotionally, right? And so then he gets up and introduces me and says, well, now we're going to have Tony Robbins. He's going to motivate you, which has never been what I do. Maybe he can motivate you to learn string theory, he says, right? And they introduced me, and I go up there, and I'm trying to figure out how to talk to the crowd, and there there's a doorknob. And I said, I know you're out there. I can hear you breathing. Come on. And so I asked the question I asked what I just asked you. I said, how many of you have ever failed to achieve your goal? No one raised their hand. I said, let's try that again. Who here has ever failed? Now we get a few hands. And so I started asking them, what caused you to fail? And they told me some of the same things. We throw them on the screen here. They said, didn't have enough time. That's why I failed. Didn't have enough energy, didn't have enough money or capital. We didn't have the right technology. We didn't have the right education. There wasn't enough research. We had terrible people. We had terrible management. And then I hear this voice in the darkness that says, I didn't have enough Supreme Court justices. And I look out, and it's Vice President Al Gore sitting there. And so if you're not familiar with it, he thought he was going to be president of the United States, and the Supreme Court justices gave it to Bush. And so everybody stood up and clapped, because this is in Northern California, which is a Democratic stronghold. And when he sat back down, I said, that's one way to explain why you didn't become president of the United States, but it's not an accurate one. And the room was like, and I said, I'll prove it to you. You tell me if I'm wrong. I said, everything you guys told me why you failed to achieve your goal was a resource that was missing. Time is a resource, true? Money, is it a resource? Yes. Is your experience, your emotion a resource? Technology is a resource? So all the things you told me why you didn't succeed is you were missing the resources, but you and I both know, if we're honest, resources are never the problem. The problem is a lack of resourcefulness. See, every one of you in this room become financially set, financially independent. You could be wealthy. You could build any size business you want. There's nothing fettering you except your own story. Who's with me on this? Say I. And the challenge, though, for most of us is we have a story that we're missing the resources. I'm too young. I'm too old. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough money. I don't know the right people. What are the stories that everybody tells you when they fail? And they're all resource stories. And I said, and your story is there aren't enough Supreme Court justices. I said, the ultimate resource is resourcefulness. Tell me, if you're creative enough, can you come up with the answer, yes or no? Yes or no? If you're determined enough, can you find a way to break through the problem, yes or no? If you're loving enough, can you get people to want to help you no matter who you are, yes or no? Absolutely. So creativity, love, joy, connection, determination, those are the ultimate resources. With those, you can get every other resource. In fact, if you look at Walmart, if you looked at Walmart back in 78, I think it was, Walmart was in an interesting position. They were 74, excuse me. They had 78 stores. And if you read the Wall Street Journal and read the coverage on them from 1974, they've been promoting Walmart for years, and suddenly all the financial news changed, and they said, sell. Because there's no way this company can grow anymore because they're out of what? Out of resources. He doesn't have any more money. He doesn't have any more of these places. Where else are you going to open up a store like this that people are going to enjoy? Only in the deep South do they want discounts like this, was what they all convinced. In those days, you had Sears and Kmart. Look at this. Where's Kmart today? Bankrupt, right? Sears bought the balance of them. And guess what? Now today, Walmart has got $500 billion a year in business. 5,000 stores, the dominant player in the world, because those guys on Wall Street didn't realize the ultimate resource was his resourcefulness, his ability to inspire people to get up at 4 in the morning, drive 2 hours, buy stuff dirt cheap somewhere else, drive back 2 hours in time for the 8:30 opening of that store. His capacity to move himself and other people is what made that company grow. Or around the corner here, a friend of mine's, how many shop at Zappos? Anybody shop at Zappos out there? You know, if you know Zappos, stupid idea. You're gonna sell shoes for women online. What's wrong with that picture? What's wrong with it? Tell me. It's impossible because they want to try them on, right? And so he comes up with an idea. He says, you're right, they need to try them on, so we're going to ship them to him for free. This is our plan. And what did all of the other people at the company say, do you think? Are you, what? Insane? We're going to pay for shipping? And if it doesn't fit, we're going to pay to ship it back? That's suicide. He says, no, you don't understand the relationship between women and their shoes. Right? Women equate shoes to happiness. Ladies, tell me if this is true. You try on the shoe, it's beautiful, it doesn't perfectly fit, but you convince yourself it will fit in the future. How many ladies can relate to this? Make some noise out there, ladies. So guess what? He was resourceful, and he turned that company from a dud to something he sold for $1.2 billion to Amazon and still runs the company today. It's all about being resourceful. So I turned back to Vice President Gore, and I said, last night I watched you get up and give a speech. It was the first time he gave his talk on an inconvenient truth. And Al Gore was passionate. It's a weird thing to see, but it was really true. And I said, you were so passionate, you were so on fire. I said, I was with you. Everybody in this building was with you, and everybody started clapping. I said, but I watched you when you had your debate with George W. Bush, and I wanted to vote for you, but I couldn't. It was horrible. And I said, the real reason you lost had nothing whatsoever to do. You didn't need the Chief Justices if you'd been in state in the first place. You did not use your resources. That is why you failed. And the whole room stood up and started clapping like crazy, and he sheepishly came up, gave me a high five, a little hug. But it's the truth. If you're not getting the result you want, you have to train everyone in your organization. Resources are not the problem. It's a lack of resourcefulness that's the problem. If we get resourceful, we can change anything. Who's with me on this? Say I. But to get resourceful really still requires energy. That's why I want to come back to it for you. Energy is everything. Low energy, low performance. High energy, high performance. Watch this. Let's imagine we have a couple, a man and a woman. They're attracted to each other. They feel it. And this attraction's really strong. And they're both in a great state. They're both in a peak state. They're in a beautiful state. If two people are in a peak state, they're around each other continuously, how's this relationship going to go? Is this going to be great? Problem? Challenge? Exciting? What do you say? Tell me. It's going to be an amazing relationship, right? What if these same two people have a real attraction for each other, but their energy is okay because of things going on in their business or with their children or in their life, or there's a health issue? if they're in an okay state, even though they love each other, even though they're attracted to each other, is it going to be the same quality of relationship? You tell me, yes or no? No way. The relationship's going to be what? Okay. What do you have two people in a lousy state? What if they're in a lousy state, they're frustrated, they're pissed off, not with each other. They're just frustrated with things going on in their life. It's not showing up the way they want. Their father is not doing the right things that he should be doing. And they're both in a lousy state, and they love each other. Are there going to be problems in this relationship, yes or no? In that lousy state, will people say and do things that they're going to wish they hadn't later on, yes or no? So you and I, if we want to have the quality of life that we desire and deserve, the number one thing we've got to do is train our nervous system to be energy rich. Because without that, anything I'm going to tell you is just a bunch of words and you're going to forget it. So I'd like to start by training ourselves a little bit to be energy rich, because I don't hope that I'm going to show up and have tons of energy. I wake up in the morning and there are days when I just got back from India or someplace, my body is in another 3 country time zones, but I got to step up and deliver a 50-hour program over the next 4 days and nights. And I got to be able to deliver that. So how do I do it? I have trained myself to go in that state quickly. So I'd like to have you do that with me. Stand up if you would. Shake your body out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. And let's do this before we do anything else. I want you, by the way, when did you learn the most? What stage of life do people learn the fastest, the quickest, the most deeply? What stage of life? When you're a kid. Because you're not afraid of failing. You don't care what people are thinking. When you're a kid, you go, I wonder what that rock tastes like. Right? You chew the thing. Kids are crazy. Who knows what I'm talking about here? Say I. So how many agree that energy is where it starts? How many would buy that? If you don't, I'm okay with it. Don't agree with me if you disagree. How many think without energy, everything else is a waste of time? Say I. And how many think peak energy, energy rich, will create better results than energy poor? Say I. Then here's my question. Where does energy come from? Food? Did you just have Thanksgiving? What happens on Thanksgiving? What do? You go eat a small amount of food and then you're very thankful, right? Now what do? You eat everything in sight, and when you can't eat another drop, you go, I'll never eat again, and somebody goes, pumpkin pie, and you go, okay. Who knows what I'm talking about here? Say I. And after that meal, do you want to go for a run? Want to go play some football? What do you want to do? Sleep. So food is not the source of energy. It is a source, but it is not the source. What else could be a source of energy since it's so important? Where would you say it comes from? Sleep? Have you ever said, who's ever slept 8 hours and you were still freaking tired? Raise your hands and say, I. That didn't come from sleep. Who's ever been exhausted and you're like falling asleep and then boom, something happened, you're awake all night? How many have had an experience like this? Say, I. You're about to have another one. Right? Shake your body out. So where energy comes from is from psychology. It comes from the way you think and feel. You know how old someone is by the way they move. You know, when somebody is really old, how do they move? Slow, barely at all. I mean, total rigidity is death. Ever seen a kid walk through the living room like this? They're walking along and they go, whoa! And they walk like nothing happened. Who's ever been that kid or seen that kid? Know what I'm talking about? Say, I. That spontaneous energy is available in you, but we get conditioned into fitting in and we lose our energy. The one thing you'll see on the most successful people in the world, they don't fit in. Richard Branson, you'll meet Richard tomorrow, he's a good friend of mine. Richard is a force of nature. He's actually very quiet when he's doing speaking. He'll be interviewed, you'll be surprised. But when you put him on a boat, put him in a balloon, put him someplace where he's risking his life and he's fully alive. He's got this energy about him. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to experiment a little bit with your energy. So the metaphor I use is, I'm 56, but I'm still a kid. And the way I use it is, I'm thinking if there was a puddle in my way, and I'm an old person mentally, right, mentally old, how will you deal with a puddle in front of you if you're an old person mentally? What will you do? What will you do? No, you don't just walk around it. You walk around the puddle and you bitch about the fact that it's even there. Isn't that what old people do? What does a kid do when they see the puddle there? What do? Wham, right? Who's willing to be a kid for a couple hours? You can always go back to an old fart later if you want. Say I. No, say I. Awesome. Then here's what we're going to do. The number one skill in business, in network marketing, in any business, is leadership. True? And leadership is one skill above all others, influence. If there's one skill to master in your lifetime that will make you wealthy in mental, emotional, and financial terms, it's the skill of influence. But most people try to influence other people using whose strategy for being influenced? Whose? Your own. So most of us are good at influencing people who are just like us. But she's not like her father, even though she loves her father, so she doesn't influence him very well. To influence another human being, my dear, you must know what already influences them. I'm going to say that again. To influence another human being, you have to know what already influences them. Instead of trying to do it your way and saying, why does most of the people don't respond except this one smart person just like me? If you're a leader, you learn to influence everyone because you can discover what is already influencing them. And we all have different beliefs and values and rules that influence us. But right now, I'm going to show you two things that influence everyone. And by the way, who do we have to influence first if we're going to be an effective leader? Who? Who we got to influence? Ourselves. And if you can influence yourself, honestly, you can do it with anybody else. So what influences us are two things while you're standing. Number one is the mental emotional state you're in. When you're in a low level state, low energy, frustrated, overwhelmed, any low level emotion, then what happens is your energy starts to drop, and as your energy drops, you're not going to perform at the same level. It's very obvious. When you're at that peak energy level, it's a whole different game. What I want you to do is kind of just see if we can uncover just how fast you can make that energetic shift, because it literally can be made in literally a few seconds. The other thing that influences people besides our state, like for example, remember I said, have you ever been snapped at somebody and it was just because you were in a lousy state? It had nothing to do with them. Who's ever been like super loving to someone and they're like surprised because they weren't in that state? Who knows what I'm talking about here? It's because you're in a different state as well. So here's what I want you to do. You're influenced by the state you're in, which we're going to show you how to change in seconds, and you're influenced by what I call your blueprint, your beliefs, your values, your rules of how people should treat you, what they should and shouldn't do. That influences your state. If we change your state enough, we can change all your rules. So let's try something simple. Here's all I want you to do. Let's find about what already influences you. Take your hands out like this. And when I say now, bring them together like that. When I say now. Ready? Go. Ready? Lots of anticipatory people. Go. Ready? Go. Ready? Go. Keep your hands together. Now, 39 years of research in 100 countries of doing this has shown me something. No matter how many times you pull your hands apart and bring them together, if I don't mention it, you'll put the same thumb on top. Notice which one it is. All right, do it again. Ready? Go. Ready? Switch thumbs, go. What's that look on your face? Go back to the way you normally do it. The way you normally do it. Ready? Go. Ready? Go. Ready? Go. You go, I'm good at this shit. I can do this. Ready? Opposite thumbs. How many feel like it's uncomfortable to do this? If changing thumbs is uncomfortable for you, think about building a business or changing your life. Do it one more time, back the way you normally do, the way it's comfortable. Ready, go. Ready, go. Keep the hands together. Research shows that if your left thumb is on top of your right thumb, then the driving force in your psychology is the desire for sex, and you're an incredible lover. I saw you change thumbs, sir. I saw you change thumbs. He's like, yeah, show this woman. I saw you change thumbs. If, however, it's not your left thumb on top of your right, but it's your right on top of your left, then the driving force in your psychology is intelligence, and you will be absolutely financially free in your lifetime. Look at this poor guy over here having a thumb fight. Do I want the sex or the money? The sex or the money? If your thumbs don't cross, if they don't cross, they just come parallel like this, it means you think you're sexy, rich, and smart, but you're none of the three. You never will be. I'm really sorry. Now, shake your body out. And we're going to discover something. Tell me, what influences people the most? Is it what you say, yes or no? Is it how you say it? No. Or is it the state you're in when you say it? Which one? Right? Can somebody use colorful language and still make you laugh? And all it is the state they're in, right? It has nothing to do with the words. Words change with the state we're in. So I want you to experiment with something really simple. If you and I are going to change our emotions quickly, we have to learn something. Emotion is created by motion. The way you move determines the way you feel. Now, this is kind of crazy because it seems so overly simplistic. But if you try to think yourself into feel better, you can go in circles. But if you make a radical change in your body, your biochemistry changes in an instant. So I want you to do a little experiment with me really fast. And in order for this to work, you got to be like a little kid. If you're like a boring adult, like, why are we doing this stupid exercise? So who's want to go for it and be a little kid for a few minutes here? Say aye. Great. Then here's what I want you to do. I'm going to ask you in a moment to walk up to somebody and introduce yourself, but I want you to do it as if talking to this person was a complete waste of your time. So it might look something like this. Sir, would you come here? Yes, sir. You. Come here. Come here. Come on. What's your name? What is it? Michael? Get the hell out of here, Michael. Jesus. Give him a hand. It's Michael, ladies and gentlemen, for God's sakes. Yes. Now, I want you to deliberately greet people as if it's a total waste of your time. Like you're a little annoyed. You're not going to say it. And I really want you to do this because I want you to notice not just how it feels to be greeted that way. That's obvious. I want you to notice, what do you got to do with your own body to get in a negative state? What do you got to do with your own body to get a little annoyed, be a little like this is a waste of my time? What do you do with your facial muscles when you think it's a waste of your time? What do you do with your shoulders when it's a waste of your time? How do you look at somebody when you're walking up and it's a waste of your time? How do you shake their hand? Do you go straight there or do you hesitate? What does your voice sound like? How do you shake their hand when it's a waste of your time? I want you to deliberately notice what you do with your face, your eyes, your voice, your body, your breath, your gestures, and I want you to meet as many people as you can in the next 2 minutes, but where it's a waste of your time, where it's a little annoying, go. See what you do. Stop. Wherever you are in the room, freeze. Shake your body out of that state now. Get out of that state. Now, when I said freeze, some of you didn't go very far. You went, hi, I'm done with this stuff. Some of you couldn't help yourself. You're like, hi. But for those that really did it, we've got, 16,000 people, so from 50 countries. So it's a perfect test. I want you to yell the answer if you would and raise your hand so we can see. If you had to change your body in some significant way to become annoyed or frustrated, raise your hand and say, aye. Awesome. Nice and loud. Did you change the muscles in your face, yes or no? Yes or no? Did you change your breathing, yes or no? Okay, test. More full or more shallow? Say it again. Say it again. Did you talk louder or quieter? Louder or quieter? Did you talk faster or slower? Faster or slower? Now I asked double times because I want you to hear 16,000 people all saying the same thing. And there are people from 50 different countries. There's people in this room with every belief system you could imagine, every background you could imagine, and you're all saying the exact same thing. I did not tell you to do that with your body. I just told you to be annoyed. So I want you to you don't get annoyed. You don't get pissed off. You do annoyed. You do pissed off. You do things that trigger your body and you're unaware of it. How many follow this? Say aye. Now you might say, no, it's not me. It's this person is irritating. Well, what if this little kid comes up to you and goes, purple eyes, you have ugly purple eyes. What are you gonna do, just beat the shit out of that kid? Is this what you're gonna do? What would you do if they scream at you got purple eyes? Would you get angry, yes or no? Why not? Because your brain goes, because it's a kid. But you what? People are just kids too. Some people use a tone of voice and you get upset, or a certain look and you get upset. It has nothing to do with it. It's your own triggers. Raise your hand if you follow. Say I. Good, let's try one more lesson. Shake your body out. Let's try a different one. This time I want you to greet as many people as you can, and I want you to greet them this time, though, as if you were deathly afraid they were going to reject you, and you were like a little kid, you were so scared. So it's like, you ma'am, could you come here? Hi. What's your name? What is it? Lauren? Nice to meet you. Give her a hand, it's Lauren Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. No, I said it's Lauren Thomas, for God's sakes. So what I want you to do is I want you to deliberately exaggerate, and when you go to greet somebody, act the way you were if you were a little kid and you're deathly afraid of being rejected. Because adults, like you're all achievers, right? As achievers, we never get fearful. Achievers just get stressed. Stress is the achiever word for fear. I'm not fearful, I'm just a little stressed. What are you stressed about? Well, we have to do this. I have to get this done. What if you don't? But I have to. What if you don't? Well, then it'll fail. What if it fails? Then I'll fail. What if you fail? Then I'm a failure. See, human beings, we follow the trail of your stress. It'll take me to your deepest fear. So here's how I want you to do this. You ever watch, let's say the Winter Olympics, and you're watching someone in the Winter Olympics in your living room on TV, and they're skiing or snowboarding, and you feel yourself in your chair doing this? Who knows what I'm talking about here? I want you to exaggerate. I want you to use your whole body so you can see what you're doing on a more subtle level as an adult. So exaggerate the fear and see, what do you do different with your face, your eyes, your voice, your posture, your gestures, the way you communicate. Introduce yourself to as many people as you can in 2 minutes, but where you're deathly afraid of being rejected, and see what you do different with your body. Ready? Go. All right, clapping now. Break out of that state. Make some noise. Let me hear you. Yes. Now, shake your body out. Now, nice and loud, 16,000 of you, 50 countries, tell me, how many of you use your body differently to be worried or fearful than to be annoyed? How many found you use your body very differently? Say, I. Did you use different muscles in your face, yes or no? Did you talk louder or quieter than when you're annoyed? Which one? Which one? Faster or even slower than when you're annoyed? Which one? Which one? Did you go straight for them or did you hesitate? Yes. Notice everyone in this room is saying the exact same thing, because in order to get fearful, you have to do very specific things with your body. If you do a different thing with your body, the fear disappears. How fast, my friends? In a heartbeat. Make sense? Shake your body out one more time. Shake it out. Let's try one more. All right? How many of you in this room have your own business? I assume all of you do, right? Awesome. Then this is perfect. Perfect exercise for you. Here's what we're going to do. When I say now, I want you to introduce yourself to as many people as you can, but here's how it's going to work. If the people you meet don't like you in the first 3 to 5 seconds of meeting you, if they don't like you, now by the way, people would never judge another person the first 3 to 5 seconds of meeting them, would they? If they don't like you in the first 3 to 5 seconds of meeting you, then they're not going to do business with you, which means your children are not going to eat next week. Or better yet, in case you don't have kids, here's the rule. If people don't like you in the first 3 to 5 seconds of meeting you, then everyone you care about dies like pigs in hell. If it was that important people liked you, let's see if you use your face and body different. Meet as many people as you can. See what you do with your face, your voice, your body. Go, 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 go. Clapping now, clapping! Shake your body out! Now, question. How many of you use your body very differently this time than the previous two? Say aye. How many enjoy the way you feel right now? Say aye. Did you use more of your body or less of your body? More muscles in your face or less muscles? More breath, more oxygen or less? Which one? Did you go straight for them or did you hesitate? Which one? Did you touch them? Did it feel good? Why? You forgot the lesson already. Because emotion is created by when you use more of the gifts your Creator has given you, then you experience more of those gifts. Everything we're looking for has already been given to us. We're just not using it. How many see what I'm talking about here? Say aye. Now, how many feel better right now than just a few minutes ago? Raise your hand. Say aye. Say aye. Question. Was that the greatest greeting you're capable of giving a stranger? Was that the greatest greeting you're capable of giving a stranger? Yes or no? Yes or no? Wow, we split the room. How many say yes? How many say no? If you said no, let's review the assignment, shall we? We said if you don't give your best, everyone you care about dies like pigs in hell, and you still didn't give your best? Listen, if you said no, I actually respect you. Because if you said no, you know the truth. That whenever we get to what we think our best is, what do we always find out? There's always, so let's find out at the level. We're going to do one more time. You go, what are we going to do? Get naked? No, not yet. No. Here's what we're going to do this time. Shake your body out. And this time, I want you to greet people like they're your long-lost lover or best friend. Like, oh my God, there she is. There's Mary. Move. I see her. There she is. Oh my God, it's so great to see you. Oh, wow. I want you to greet people like they're your long-lost lover or best friend. Ready? Go, 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 go. Shake your body out. If that felt better than before, make a fist and shout the word yes. Say yes. Say yes. Did you use more of your body or less of your body? More muscles in your face or less? Did you breathe more oxygen or less? Did you talk louder or quieter? Faster or slower? Did you hesitate or go straight for them? Did you touch them? Did it feel good? Why? Because emotion is created by? If you use more of the gifts your Creator has given you, you will experience the gifts you're looking for. They're already here. How many follow? Say I. So now, what if we took it up one more notch? But in this notch, let's not take it about greeting somebody else. By the way, you say, Tony, what do I do? Go up to a prospect and go, Charlie! I bet it'll change their state. Here's what I want you to do. Why did you come here to this program? Why did you travel this far? Why did you come here? What do you want? Tell me. Anyone, raise your hand and tell me. Why did you come here? Yes, sir. Why are you here? Knowledge. What do you want the knowledge for? To grow. And why do you want to grow?
To feel good, to feel better, to help other people feel better.
Very nice. Give him a hand. Very nice. Give him a hand. Someone else. Why are you here? Someone else. Why did you come here? Yes, ma'am. Why did you come here? Why did you come?
To be a better leader to my team.
To be a better leader to your team. And why do you want to be a better leader for your team?
To help.
There's some of your teammates out there.
They're out there. To help influence them and help them become influencers.
And why do you want to influence them to help them get what they want? What will that give you?
It'll give me a lot of joy and it'll help a lot of people around the world.
So he wants growth. She wants joy. Her way of doing that is help my team. Nothing wrong with it, but it helps you understand. What all of us want are feelings. Some people say, I want $1 billion. You want 1 billion pieces of paper with pictures of dead people on it? No, what you say, no, I want what money will give me. Well, what will money give you? Tell me, what do you think money will give you? Security? Can you have lots of money and still feel insecure? Freedom? Can you have lots of money and not be free? Love? Money will not buy you love. Money will get you sex, not love. Right? So money, you're only looking for money because you think what it's going to lead to. Who's ever thought, I want a relationship? And then you got one and thought, I don't want a relationship. Say I. Because you didn't want relationship, you wanted love, you wanted intimacy, you wanted connection. I bring this up because if you get this, then I want to make sure that you don't just leave here with your business outcomes. I want you to leave here where you get what you want out of your life. Why did you get in the network marketing business? Ultimately, because you thought it would lead to freedoms, emotions, feelings, securities, connections, relationships, something, but they're feelings. And here's the crazy thing. When you finally achieve, how many of you have a big, hairy goal, a giant goal that if you could achieve it would excite the hell out of you? How many have got a goal like this? Awesome. How would you feel if you just achieved that goal just now? How would you feel? Now, I want you to notice this is your biggest goal in life, and your level of energy and excitement about it lasts about 20 seconds. If you're going to really achieve what you want, the level of energy associated to it has to probably be 10 or 20 fold that. How many follow what I'm talking about here? Say I. But here's what I want you to get. When you finally achieve that goal, who's going to make you feel those feelings that you want? Who's going to make you feel that celebration when you win, when you achieve? You are. You know what the scary part is? Most people achieve their goal and then they go, is this all there is? Who's ever done this? Whoever achieved a goal and then thought, is this all there is? Raise your hand, say I. That's like worse than failing, isn't it? Because if you fail, most of us, we're overachievers. If we fail, we just get back up and we'll do it again. We'll find the way. But if you succeed and you're unhappy, now you're what I call technically screwed. You're in deep trouble. So what I want to point out to you is everything you want is a feeling, and you can create that feeling right now, and you can have the feeling now and still achieve. But wouldn't it be nice, instead of achieving, to be happy, to happily achieve? Wouldn't it be nice to have this incredible energy now, not just someday? And if you have this energy, you're going to attract other people in a whole different way. But if you have to wait till you're totally successful, till you have that energy or till you have that joy, you're going to find a hard time getting there. Because you're going to constantly feel like an imposter trying to convince people. You don't have to convince people. If you've got a role model in this business and you're following a plan, you can achieve it. You can show other people, I'm learning by studying this person. Come with me. But most people don't realize that what they're really after is a feeling. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to experience your favorite feelings right now for no good reason. I'd like you to consider a belief to add to your mental blueprint. What if you had a belief that said, I don't need an excuse to feel good? I don't need an excuse to feel good whatsoever. How many of you in this room have plenty of things you can be grateful for, plenty of situations in your life you can feel joyful about if you focused on them? Say I. But most of us focus on them for a little while until something distracts us or takes us off course, and then we forget. If you say, well, Tony, just being happy for no good reason, I don't need an excuse to feel good, that's pretty naive. That's pretty positive thinking bullshit. I'm not talking about that at all. I don't believe in positive thinking. I don't believe you should go to your garden and pretend there's no weeds there or start chanting there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. I believe you got to find the weed and pull it out. Who's with me on this? Say I. So for you and I, let's right now create the victory you want in the future right now. Let's experience all of that energy, that enjoyment now. Who's up for it? Say I. So the way we're going to do it is simple. In a moment, we're going to celebrate like crazy for no good reason. Now, in case you're mentally old at 25 or 35 or 45 or 55 or whatever age, if you're mentally old, your idea of a celebration is like, yay. You know why? When in our culture is it okay to just go crazy, to jump, scream, yell, dance, high five people, hug people, kiss strangers? When is that okay? When you're drunk. Thank you, Sarah. Good. New Year's. Thank you. New Year's. When else can you do it besides New Year's and when you're drunk? When else can you just be crazy, connected? When you have your first orgasm. Good, sir. I hope it was recent. What else besides an orgasm and drunk? How about sports? How many in this room know that in your local city, if your local sports team or your national team wins a national, international championship, do me a favor, with your body, show me what your city would look like by your example if your team just won. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Scream and yell, yes or no? Do they dance in the streets? Do they hug and kiss strangers? And what do they yell the whole time? We did it, we did it. What is this bullshit, we did it? You watched. You didn't do squat. But I'm glad you're finally happy. You know what's crazy? It's wonderful people celebrate. But if the only time you celebrate is when a group of strangers you don't even know perform at a high level in sports, how come when they fail, they fail? But when they succeed, we did it. See, I'm glad you're finally celebrating, but if that's the only time you celebrate, some of you live in cities where you're never going to celebrate based on the sports team you have. So, who's going to try on my approach? You don't need an excuse to feel good. Who's going to try that one here? Say, I. By the way, how many of you know someone whose state is so lousy they can walk in the building and suck the oxygen out of the building? How many of you know somebody who can walk in the room, when they walk in the room, their energy lifts everybody around them? Who knows like that kind of person? Say, I got a question for you. Which one of those is you? Are you a lukewarm middle one? So let's break it out. So here's what I want you to do. Turn to the person next to you and go, I own you. No, I own you. No, I'm going to outdo your energy. On a count of 3, here's what we're going to do. We're going to shake this building like it's never been shaken before. And the way we're going to do it is you're going to jump, you're going to yell, you're going to scream, you're going to celebrate like a little kid, not like a boring-ass adult going gay. So secret number 1 to celebration, in case you haven't done it for a long time, your feet must come off the ground. None of this, hey, shit. I know it looks cool. But when you go like this, it doesn't do anything. But when you extend your body, it fires off neurotransmitters in your brain that cause you to actually feel happy. It's not fake, it's a biochemical change. Another one, how many of you when you were a little kid used to make noises just for fun? Make the sound of excitement, make some excitement sounds, go. Try another one, Do one more, try one more. Oh, yes. How many feel good when you make these crazy sounds? Say I. And you know, you did that till someone came along and said to you, just stop. How many of you, better yet, how many of you like to sing when no one's around? You're in your car, you're rocking, you're rapping, and you're 70, and you're white, and I'm confused. In your car, you're rapping, you're rocking, you get to the stoplight, you're still singing, you look over the car next to you, someone's staring at you like this. What do you quickly do? You pick out your cell phone and act like you've been talking to someone the whole time. Who knows what I'm talking about here? Who likes to sing even though you sound like hell? Let me see a show of hands. Why do you like to sing even though you don't sound good? Because emotion is created by, and when you sing, you move parts of your body you don't normally move. If you don't use it, if you use more of it, it gets stronger. So here's what we're going to do. Who's up for the ultimate celebration here? Say I. Then I want you to celebrate like you achieved your highest goal and you're a little kid going crazy, like you had the greatest orgasm of your life, like you and God are one, whatever works best for you. But I want you to outdo your partner with celebration for a full 30 seconds. Who's up for it? Say I. Let's clap, and on 3 we go crazy. 1, 2. Makes your partner go crazy. 3. High-five your partner and say you rock, baby, and grab a seat. High-five your partner and say you rock, baby, and grab a seat in a pink state. Now, take a sip of water if you've got some. Sit down in a pink state. Sit down in a peak state. Take a sip of water. And then notice most people had high energy. Now they're in their chair, low energy. Crank the energy in your chair. Remain seated. Crank the energy in your chair. I don't think the world is sold. I'm just doing what we're told. I feel something so wrong. I'm doing the right thing. I could lie. Everything that grounds me makes me make some noise. I've been losing sleep, dreaming about the things that we could be. But baby, I've been praying hard. Still no more counting dollars, will be counting. Peak state, get a high five. Sit down at peak state. And when you sit down, don't lose your energy. Sit down. Keep the energy in your chair. Wake up the people on either side of you. Wake them up. Come on, man. Now, stand up. I want you to find one partner, and I want you to go up and tell them what business you're in, which should be similar to your own. What business you're in and how's business. Tell them the truth about how your business is going. What business you're in, how's business. Third question, what's the chokehold on growth in your business right now? What's the chokehold? What's missing? What's keeping from growing? If you're growing at the level you want to. You got 2 minutes. Go. Grab somebody, find out. Go. Tell them what business you're in. Tell them how's business. Welcome out. Six, seven. How about you, brother? Oh, that's awesome. Good to meet you. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Be sure to switch and hear from your partner. Be sure to switch. One minute left. 1 minute left. Be sure to hear from your partner. 1 minute. All right, give everybody a high five. Grab a seat. Give everybody a high five. Grab a seat. Grab a seat if you would. Grab a seat. Real quick. Now, let me take 3 quick samples. I'm going to come out here for a moment here because these guys up front are doing pretty damn good. I know they want to do better. Hi, guys. I'll do it afterwards. Someone out here, raise your hand and tell me what's your business, how's business, and what's the chokehold? Yes, ma'am. Give her a hand. No, give her a real hand. What's your name?
I'm Lynn.
Lynn, nice to meet you. Where are you from?
I am from Madison.
How's business?
It's health and wellness. It's been going exceptionally well since we saw you last year.
Oh, that's nice.
Over the last 6 months, we set some very high goals and have achieved them, and it's been great.
Wonderful. Tell me, as great as it's going, what's the chokehold on the next level of growth?
The chokehold is duplicating myself.
It's what?
It's duplicating myself.
Okay, and tell me what's the chokehold to duplicating yourself?
I'm trying to find people that are willing to do what I'm doing and have my kind of energy, and I'm trying to find people that will be self-starters so that I don't have to do everything for everyone.
And how are you doing about that right now?
I'm recruiting more, finding people that are more like me, being very selective. As you mentioned, I'm not looking for everybody. I know I'm looking for a very small niche of people.
Good. And what do you think, what will it take for you to actually create this duplication? Because by the way, how many of you in this room are a little bit stressed coming here, even though you're excited to come here because you're not there managing your day-to-day business? How many have some stress about that? Raise your hand if you feel some stress about that. If you raise your hand, write down a phrase in your notebook right now. Write down, I am a business operator and I must become a business owner. I am a business operator. If you are stressed because you're not right now running your business, you're here, you're somewhere else, or if you're gone for a few weeks and you're worried what that's going to do to your business, then you're not an owner. You're an operator. And operators are always stressed because there's always more work to do than there's time. An owner, for example, the 31 companies I have, probably one of the companies that I've had the longest, I'm there maybe one day a year at the company. And we've grown for the last 9 years at 22% compounded every year. And I'm there one day. That's a business ownership. I used to be an operator where I did everything 24/7, 365, plus on the product on some of, for the educational companies that I have. So you can only imagine it was incredibly stressful. If you and I want to have a different quality of life, we really have to become that business owner. That's the most important piece. So what's it going to take for you to get there? Because you've known what you're telling me right now for some time. Have you not?
I have. More so after I took an NLP course last year and it really clicked.
Great. So what has to happen? What has to happen different than just keep recruiting?
That's a good question, Tony.
Yes, it is a good question. It's one that there's the $64,000 or the $64 million answer, right? See, if we keep doing what we've done in the past and just hope things will get better, they rarely do. Or they might get better incrementally, but not geometrically. Someone will tell me, this is my 5-year plan, and my quest back to them is, why can't you do that in 6 months? Which sounds like an absurd question. But when you really push somebody on it, and they start to think outside the 9 dots, very often they can find it. But what happens is we get used to believing a certain thing. So I want all of you right now, think of something that you have not yet accomplished that you truly want to accomplish, but you're frustrated because you're not there. Raise your hand if you can think of something that you really want to accomplish, but you're frustrated because you're not there, you've not gotten where you want to be. Raise your hand if you fit that category. Okay, how about this young lady here in the white? Give her a hand. What's your name? Where are you from? What's your name?
Oh my God.
She raised her hand. Now she raised her hand, but she wasn't expecting to get picked, I guess.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm Laura and I'm from London.
From where?
London.
London. Very nice. Laura from London, ladies and gentlemen. So Laura, tell me, what is it you've not accomplished that you really want to accomplish?
I've given myself a goal by February to reach the next position above me, and the past 5 months have literally just been incredible. And I need to push past my anxiety and hold
Push past your what?
Anxiety.
Anxiety? I see. And so what makes you anxious?
Well, 5 months ago, I was on anxiety and depression tablets, and my business actually enabled me to come off all my medication. And oh my God. And I just need to believe in myself a bit more.
So what do you do right now if you start feeling anxious, like when I picked you?
Sorry?
What do you do now when you start feeling anxious, like when I picked you?
Yeah, big time.
Yes? So what did you do when you started to feel anxious just now?
Stood up, got out of my comfort zone, and just pushed past, and I know what I want, and I won't stop till I get there.
Yes. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. Very good. Very good. So, how many of you came here because you didn't just want to make a small change? You know, change is not that hard to do. People say, you know, I'm going to change. If you do nothing, things are going to change. If we do nothing, will the economy change? Yes or no? If you do nothing, will your relationships change? If you do nothing, will your body change? Even if you do lots of things, your body's still going to change, right? So change is automatic. Progress is not. If you want progress, you have to learn to create breakthroughs. A breakthrough is not just a slight change, it's a transformation. How many of you in this room have ever had a breakthrough where there was something you struggled with for a long time? You kept telling yourself you're going to do it, telling yourself you're going to change it, pushed yourself to do it, but then you fell back and you got frustrated with yourself until one day, bam, finally something inside you clicked. Not another day, not another hour, I'm changing this now. And you really did it. Who's done this before? Raise your hand, say aye. Good, then here's what I want to do with you right now. I want to make sure you become clear how to create a breakthrough. Because that's what you're going to need to do for the rest of your life if you're going to be in business. Business leaders are people that create breakthroughs. They don't just improve things, they transform them. So how do you create a breakthrough? First of all, what is a breakthrough? Write down a definition for it if you would. What is a breakthrough? In fact, instead of me telling you, you tell me. What's a breakthrough, sir? A breakthrough is?
Getting out of the box.
Getting out of the box? Okay, someone else, what's a breakthrough? What is it? It's a second chance. Someone else, what's a breakthrough? Tell me, what's a breakthrough?
Getting through to what I wanted to accomplish.
Getting through to what I want to accomplish even though I wasn't before. What's a breakthrough?
A change of mind.
A state or a change of mind. I would say to all these are good definitions, but to me, a breakthrough is a moment in time. It's a moment when you have the breakthrough. Remember I said it's not 10 years, it's the moment. The moment you say it's over, I do, I love you, let's begin, I quit. So it's a moment in time where the impossible becomes possible. That's when it's a breakthrough. What was impossible an hour ago, 5 minutes ago, for the last 6 years, suddenly something clicks in you and it changes. And it changes right here, right now, in an instant. Who's had this experience before somewhere in your life? Raise your hand and say, I. So if you and I want you to model yourself. How many need to make some breakthroughs to go to the next level of your business right now? Say, I. Or how many need some breakthroughs in your intimate, personal life or with your body or somewhere else? Say, I. So whatever area you want to have a breakthrough in, I'm going to tell you what I've learned about breakthroughs in the most simple form, but if I tell you, you may doubt it. If you tell me, it'll be true. So I want you right now to write down a breakthrough you've had somewhere in your life. It could have been in a relationship, could have been with your body, your weight, could have been a habit, could have been something, but where there was something you struggle with and you finally broke through. I want you to write down two things. In that breakthrough, what finally pushed you over the edge? Because you probably dealt with this a lot, right? You kept saying you're going to change it, saying you're going to do something about it. So what finally made that moment actually break through instead of more discussion? And not only what triggered you to break through, but also what made it possible. Like, did you have a new belief all of a sudden? Or did you meet someone who was a role model, and so since you saw they did it, you said, I can do it as well, and that created the breakthrough. So what was the trigger that made you finally break through in that moment, but also, what made it possible? What new belief, what new insight, what new role model, what new example? Was there a new emotion in you that you finally hit, and that emotion is what pushed you over the edge? What triggered you, and then what made it possible? Just take a minute and a half, jot it down. And if you have more time, if you get through it quick, do a personal breakthrough. And then if you've had a business breakthrough, you could do that one also. But I want to know what made you finally do it in that moment And then what made it work? What belief, what strategy, what tool, what insight made it work? You got 2 minutes, go. What was your breakthrough? What finally pushed you over the edge that day, that night, that moment to finally change? Even though you wrestled with it for a long time. And then what new belief, what new insight, what new emotion, what new relationship really made it last, really made it possible? How many got the insight? Raise your hand if you got it. Great. Tell the person next to you what your struggle was, how you struggle with the ears. Tell them what pushed you over the edge, and tell them what made it possible. Go, real quick, go. Grab a partner and tell them real quick. What was the breakthrough? What pushed you over the edge? Beautiful picture. What's that? What's your name?
you, buddy. All right. Time. Time. I know it's not a lot of time for you there. But let me offer you the 3 keys. If you want to speed up and get a breakthrough quickly, I found there are 3 elements, and if you do these 3 things right away, you don't have to struggle. And we'll see whether this really worked for you or not. First, someone here tell me an example. Raise your hand, tell me an example of a breakthrough you struggled with and you finally made it happen. Okay, yes, my dear. Give her a hand.
I just wanna make you sweat.
Give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen. What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Sherry. I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona.
Sherry from Scottsdale, Arizona, ladies and gentlemen. You must not have heard me. I said it's Sherry from Scottsdale, Arizona. Sherry, what's the area you struggled with for so long and then you finally broke through? What's the area? What's the situation?
Yeah, it was a dysfunctional pattern that had been going on in the family that I finally broke.
And what was it?
Dysfunctional, abusive relationship.
An abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And you put up with it for a long time.
Yes. 8 years.
8 years. And what finally in that moment said, this is it, made you stop? What made you finally draw the line in the sand?
Well, I had started getting into personal development in 2008, and someone introduced me to some books. So I was unaware and started getting conscious about that. And I had bought my partner a book about why you treat your woman bad, and maybe I thought he could read this book and learn why he's treating me like crap. So
this is clearly female logic. I'm going to give a male, an abusive male, a book about why he's abusive. He's going to read it and change. Okay, that's just a little optimistic, I think.
Well, obviously I started that personal development phase, so I was optimistic.
So you gave him the book, and what happened?
So I gave him the book, and a year had passed, and I was cleaning, and I found a receipt for the book. The book was unopened, and in fact it had escalated, and things had gotten way worse. And we had a daughter that was starting to see this happen, and I had that moment that I saw the receipt. It was the same date to the year. That was it.
So she hit at what we call a threshold. How many of you in this room hit a threshold where there was a moment where your brain said, not another moment, not another day, not another effing hour, I'm changing this now? How many of you experienced this? Raise your hand. Keep your hands up. Look at the percentage of the room that hit a threshold. So what I want you to understand is if you're waiting for a threshold to come hit you, then your breakthroughs are only going to be when you have enough pain, which is how it is for the majority of people in the world. But if you can learn how to accelerate even the pain, to bring it all in at once, you can create the threshold in yourself and change right freaking now. How many follow what I'm talking about here? Say I.